Hey everyone, welcome to our review of Curious George Goes to the Hospital. Now, this is one of the original Curious George books, first published in 1966, so it's not one of the newer ones. And my quick summary of this book is my kids, that's a 4-year-old and 18-month-old, love it, but I, as an adult, am done with Curious George. Fini, okay? Here's why. We'll walk through it. Look, it's a good-looking book, all right? The cover, the presentation, the inside. And on the first few pages, you see that sketched kind of style that Curious George is known for. Nicely laid out, easy enough to follow, right? So Curious George eats a jigsaw puzzle piece that he gets as a present, and he winds up having to see a doctor under the care of his fine young friend, the man with the yellow hat and yellow tie and yellow everything. And they have to see a doctor, and they wind up in the hospital. All right. So Curious George has to stay overnight for a little outpatient surgery, as it would, and naturally he's in with all the other humans. Nothing's been updated in this version of the book. It is still 1966. They talk about barium. The hospital looks old. It's still an old school ward. Even this wheelchair is more of a cart. So it is a bit of a trip back in time. But still a nice story, but very detailed. We're at page 19, and he's only just been checked in. Story goes on. He gets wheeled into his surgery. He has his surgery, and eventually, as with all things Curious George, shenanigans ensue. He's escaped in the cart. The mayor just happens to be at the hospital, and of course he crashes into everything, spilling lunches everywhere, crashing into the mayor. But all's well that ends well, because he cheers up the kids in the hospital. He gets his prize, everyone smiles, everything's mopped up and ready to go. And this is a 40 plus page story. 47, 48 pages at the end. So parents, hunker down. She's a long one. All right, that's one of the reasons I don't like it as a parent. It does take a long time to read, but my kids love it. It's a lot of detail, but it's easy enough words for them to follow. I would say that as an adult, I'm not naive enough to think that the man with the yellow hat is actually his friend, when we all know he's a kidnapper. And for Curious George to think his friend, and think the man with the yellow hat is his friend, is really a case of Stockholm Syndrome. Let's face it, if a man in an all-yellow outfit with a 25-gallon yellow sombrero was walking around the neighborhood with a monkey, you'd call the cops. But you know what? That's a bit of reality we can suspend for the sake of our kids. Curious George Goes to the Hospital. Look, your kids will love it, but you, on the other hand, might not want to buy a copy. Just get one from the library that you don't have to deal with all the time.